Hey everyone, my name is Sharon. I go by the pilot name of Blonde Angel, and I'm a pilot here in Western Australia, based in Perth. So I was lucky enough to be provided with one of the new DJI FPV drone combos to give a bit of a test and a demo and see what I thought of it. So thank you very much to CR Kennedy for that. Now, I've never done any kind of video drone work. I've never done any kind of freestyle work. I got into this through racing, and it's pretty much I've only ever done FPV racing. So my perspectives will be completely from the racing angle. I'm sure lots of other people are going to do breakdowns of the drones and everything. I'm not going to bother doing that here. It's not really my thing, so I'll just give you an idea of what this drone is like from the perspective of your average racer. So first things first, we've got the transmitter here. Now I usually fly with a Taranis X-Lite like this, so I'm used to thumbing, and you can tell they are very similar kind of setup. For me, I found that this is really comfortable to hold. Fairly kind of similar setup with the sticks. The stick ends not quite as nice as the ball type that I usually use, that you can see on here. Thankfully you can adjust it so that this stick, which comes as an auto center, can be adjusted so you can have it all the way down. Very handy as a pilot. So with these, the stick ends actually unscrew, and you can store them into that space in there, and they do actually give you a spare set, so that's nice of them, I guess, if you lose them. Other than that, I mean, yeah, this is really nice and comfortable to hold. It's comfortable as a thumber. Probably not quite as much resolution as I'm used to, but it works. So we'll see how that goes when flying. Now, the drone's a bit of a different matter. This is the drone. So I'm sure you've probably all seen reviews of it, so I won't go into those details. But for me, this is kind of the big difference. So this drone here, without the battery in the back here, which just pops out like that, we weighed it in at 511 grams. With the battery, it's 798 grams. Now, I'm used to flying this drone here. So this is a Godmode that I built myself. I've got a couple of these. This one here we weighed in at 341 grams without battery, and 576 with a 6S 1300 milliamp hour battery on it. So big weight difference and fairly big kind of size comparison difference. So we'll see how it goes. I imagine it's going to feel a bit more sluggish to what I'm used to, but that's okay, that's part of it. You expect that of a heavier drone. If you're used to doing freestyle and stuff like that, and you're used to running with a GoPro on, well, it's probably not going to make much difference. Most likely going to be fairly similar weight to what you're used to anyway. Now, the final part of this package is the goggles. So I'm currently using these ones here. They are the SkyZone 04X, and these are absolutely amazing goggles. They've got focus, they've got OLED screens. This one also comes with a mix module, which is kind of similar to your rapid fire modules. So yeah, they're beautiful goggles. I absolutely love them. I only got them recently, but I'm really impressed with them. Now, this combo here comes with the V2 goggles. Now, these are not comfortable. First thing I noticed, I put it on my head, they're heavy, they dig in. On the sides here, you have big gaps. You end up with a lot of light leakage in here. To be able to race with it with this foam, you would really need to fit something in the side there to push it out. There are foams available aftermarket to fit better to your face, so if I was going to be racing with these, I'd definitely be doing that. They are not comfortable to wear for any length of time. Video in them, however, what I've seen so far is absolutely amazing. So that side of it, definitely beautiful, clear. Just the clarity is phenomenal, but we'll see how we go once we actually physically get out there. Now you also get the battery for the goggles, so that comes as part of the kit. You turn it on. You've actually got to turn the battery on, which is something a little bit different to what I'm used to. You just turn goggles on with mine, but you press that and then press and hold. That starts up your battery and gives you an indication of where the charge is at. And then similar thing for turning it off. Press once, press and hold, and it turns off. The transmitter charges through that USB port there, and both the transmitter and the battery, as well as the drone's battery, all charge through the provided charger. So this end here plugs into the drone battery, connector there. It's a really nice solid looking connector, so that's pretty good. Should be able to take a bit of amps running through that. And it's just a standard figure 8 cable. Came with the correct one for Australia, which is really handy. And it's just got your 2 USB slots in here. Only comes with one USB Type-C cable though, so I'd imagine you could possibly charge both your transmitter and your goggle battery at the same time, but with the provided cables you can only charge the one at a time. So I mean, initial look into this, be interesting to see how it goes. I expect it's going to be a little bit sluggish. I'm not sure exactly how well it's going to do. Once again, I've never flown anything like a Mavic or a Phantom or anything along those lines. For me, it's always been straight up FPV. So we'll see how we go with this lot. One other thing that might be worth mentioning, and I guess we'll see how we go once we get out there, is they only give you one spare lot of props straight up in the kit. So if you intend to be flying this for any FPV use beyond just straight photography work, so you want to do a little bit of freestyle or a bit of racing, I would strongly suggest you get props straight up. Any racer will tell you props are just something you go through heaps of. Props like on my quad, you can see they're a bit damaged, they're a bit bent. It's the first thing that goes when you run into things usually. You just bend them back into place. I have no idea how these ones will go when they get hit. The kind of plastic they are, I'm expecting that they probably won't bend back out into place properly, but I guess we'll see how we go. Okay, so here we are up at our home grounds of Rotorcross. We've just set up just a nice little simple track with some flags and one gate. Straight away I put this drone into manual mode, skipping the other modes because, well, I'm a racing pilot. Since I know how to fly in acro mode, I also skipped the flight simulator. If you're not familiar with flying in acro mode, then I would recommend that you try it. You may have a very difficult time going straight into acro mode if you're used to just flying camera drones. I'm honestly quite impressed with how well this DJI FPV works on the course. I had to turn the rates down and the expo up from standard. It was way too twitchy for my liking, but once I got those set, I found it easy to handle and it wasn't as slow and clunky feeling as I was expecting. Here I am following my friend Matt from Extreme Limit Films. If you haven't seen their stuff, you should check it out. They do some absolutely amazing drone filming work. Now, I am no top racing pilot or anything, I'm just an average pilot and my skills are improving, but for our testing at Rotorcross, we wanted to see how well an average pilot could pick up this new drone and fly it. I'm purposely taking it easy and cruising about, getting a feel for how it handles. Even in manual mode, there are safety limiters turned on to prevent you rolling the quad. As you can see, it won't let me do a clean split S into the gate. This becomes more obvious in this clip. We can, however, go into settings, remote controller, then you scroll across to gain an expo, and you can turn off the M mode attitude limit that's listed underneath the rates. Once you do that, then the drone can do this. This track was at a race day at another West Australian drone racing club, West Coast Multi-Rotor Club, and I took it out for a test after the racing was finished. As with the other footage, what you see here is recorded on board the drone. Once again, I'm just cruising around the track. I'm not going at my full pace. I wasn't comfortable enough with the DJI FPV drone yet to do that, and I still needed it in one working piece for Rotorcross's demonstration day. This is how I performed earlier in the day with my analog Quadracer Godmode. So that's where the DJI's onboard recording cut out before I clipped the gate and crashed out. Two of the props were damaged, one quite severely so, and as I suspected, they don't bend back into shape well. You definitely need to make sure you have some spare packs of props for this. A few panels had to be popped back into position and we had to knock a bit of dirt out of the motors, but there's nothing unusual there for a crash. Surprisingly though, the battery came out in the crash as well. I would have thought they would stay in a bit more solidly given its design. All in all though, I thought that it was a great test of this drone. I'm nowhere near pulling its full potential out of it, and I doubt my pilot ability level would max out its potential either. I didn't expect it to perform as well as it did. Still not sure I'd want to race it with other quads, as I'm not sure how it would hold up in a quad-on-quad collision, nor do I think it is ultimately competitive with a racing quad. But it did do well, and if you want a hybrid system that you can do some photography and video work with and then do some freestyle or even take it around a track, then I think it's definitely a drone you may want to consider. Thanks for watching, and again a huge thanks to CR Kennedy for letting me test DJI's new FPV drone.